Hi everyone! So, I would like to give my thoughts on a very predominant case that's going on in Kerala right now. And this is all about the case with the nun and with Bishop Franco. I'll give a brief overview in case you're watching this and you don't really know what's been going on. Or you're not familiar with it, right? Because this is mainly familiar to people from Kerala right now. So, this is a case where there was a Catholic nun who made an allegation against a bishop about being raped by the bishop on 13 different occasions. And there's a big outrage and spark going around because many people are saying, well, if this nun was raped 13 times, why didn't she report it the first time? So I'm going to give a little bit of insight to people who are mentioning these abominations of very critical statements about this poor nun. So first of all, you have to understand the mentality of who would get believed in this case, because bishops and priests have more of a sense of power than nuns do. When you see a typical Kerala Catholic nun, she gives a lot of her earnings to the church, and there's less of a sense of authority when it comes to certain the decisions and church matters. And there's always this blame the victim mentality that comes throughout the entire country of India. Not just India, but everywhere else around the world. But when I say this, I'm coming from my own personal experiences. And I can say this because I grew up with Indian culture, and despite being raised in the US, I'm very well aware of how the victim blaming stems from these issues in Indian culture, because a lot of times a family's worth is seen with the purity of the woman. It's always the purity of the woman that's called into question. Even when it comes to marriage, a woman is more likely asked about her sexual partners and her past more than a male is asked. And a male can go and have a plethora of relations, but if a woman is known to have one boyfriend, she's basically seen as a whore. And so we come from this society. And it's really sad because a lot of times women feel that they cannot report rape or sexual assault in India because of the massive stigma that it carries. Because if you're going to go and make such a big allegation, you have to understand that essentially your family dignity is on the line. If it's someone that's of a high status and power and authority, they're probably going to bribe you and threaten you and try to keep you silent. And so this goes on, and it's a reality. And essentially in this case, with his nun, she was very, very brave to finally be like, enough is enough, and I have to just take this to the news. I have to make it public because, I mean, there are still things in court that are being proved, but there have been statements that this nun was offered property, she was offered money just to stay silent. And it's almost ridiculous that, not almost, it's very ridiculous that even in this time there are certain people who just view like a bishop or someone like of really, really high authority, like a male person in the church of high authority, as being equivalent to God in a sense. And it sort of brings into character the true worship and values of Christians. And, you know, are they worshiping Jesus, or are they just trying to equate that with a human being who is just a representative, you know, who's supposed to be a good shepherd for the church, but they're misusing their power. And so, yeah, these are my thoughts.